There is a collapse that never makes a sound. It isn't the explosion of a failed career or the screaming matches of a messy divorce. It leaves no debris. It leaves no evidence. Most men don't break loudly. They break quietly, right in the middle of doing everything right, fulfilling every expectation placed upon their shoulders. They break while dropping the kids off at school on time, while hitting a deadline at work, while holding their wives and saying, "I'm fine." They don't collapse. They fade. From a living, breathing entity full of color and impulse, they fade into a polite silhouette. A perfect resume. A good husband. A good father. A good man. Until no one, including themselves, can point out exactly where the real person went. This video isn't about cruel men or abusive men. The world already has enough voices speaking about them. This video is for the men who chose the opposite path. They tried to be good, kind, understanding, responsible, and in the relentless pursuit of that acceptance, bit by bit, they erased themselves. If you're feeling a profound exhaustion, an invisible weight on your chest every morning, a hollow emptiness creeping into the middle of a full family dinner, perhaps you've realized this for a long time. Perhaps you've heard the whisper of your own voice, drowned out by the noise of should and must. Today, let's turn off all that noise, and let's listen. So, what does being good actually mean here? Let's dismantle it. It's not about personal morality or true kindness that flows from the heart, from a place of wholeness and autonomy. No. Good. Here is an invisible contract. A pre-written script. A long list of expectations handed to them by society, culture, family, and even the people they love. Being a good husband, always empathetic, never disappointed. A good provider, relentless, stable, without an off switch. A good partner, soulmate, therapist, a rock-solid foundation. A good man, the kind the whole world nods its approval at. We are programmed from a very early age, through every praise, every approving glance, or every disappointed headshake. A boy must be strong, but he must be accommodating. A man endures. He doesn't complain. Be understanding at all times. Be available. Be emotionally open, but don't be weak. Be empathetic, but don't be a burden. Don't upset anyone. Don't make trouble. Don't rock the boat. And here is a pivotal truth, one that almost no one tells you. Men are rarely taught how to stay whole, how to protect their inner core, the fire of their personality, and their sacred boundaries. They are only taught how to stay acceptable, to comply, to fit in. And the break? It doesn't happen in a dramatic moment under the spotlight of tragedy. No loud shatter. No black screen. It happens subtly, silently, through thousands, tens of thousands, of tiny choices and micro-adjustments made every single day. You explain your emotions, the reasons for your actions, your perspective meticulously, perfectionistically, instead of simply standing your ground and saying, "This is what I think." You apologize for your needs, for your presence, for the moments you don't meet an expectation, instead of holding a boundary with a calm that requires no justification. You listen endlessly, with infinite patience, absorbing every emotional storm, but you yourself are never truly heard. Your voice becomes an echo in an empty room. You give emotional access to yourself without limit, like a bank account open 24/7, never allowed to hang a closed or under-maintenance sign. And the psychological consequence isn't a wound, it's an erosion. loss of edge. You no longer react sharply, your vision loses its keenness. Your ability to make decisive moves blurs. You become flat, safe, and boring, even to yourself. Loss of polarity. You lose your natural magnetism. That masculine energy, bold and decisive, is dissolved into a pale consensus. You are no longer a distinct positive pole to attract the negative. You become a neutral zone, where no magnetic field exists. Loss of inner authority. That inner voice, the commander-in-chief that tells you what to do, where to go, and what to protect, it's now just a faint whisper, constantly drowned out by the voices of others. Will they be okay with this? Will she be upset? Am I doing this wrong? Nothing explodes. There are no warnings. Just something, a spark, a self that slowly goes out. You still function like a well-programmed machine, but the fire inside has been dead for a long time. And a painful question arises. Why did no one warn us about this? Why isn't there a class, a book, or a friend who said, "Hey, be careful. That path of being good might make you disappear"? Because society only warns men about the dangers that are visible, measurable, and condemnable. Anger, aggression, authoritarian dominance, the lust for control, the things that create victims, tears, and legal consequences. But there is never a warning about the invisible dangers that gnaw away from the inside. Over-accommodation. Emotional overexposure, where you offer your heart as a sacrifice for someone else's peace. Self-erasure, the quitting of hobbies, the stifling of laughter, the silencing of opinions, all in the noble name of being good, keeping the peace, and being a reasonable man. This is the great paradox, a bitter irony. Men are constantly warned, punished, and coached not to become too tough, too cold, too domineering. But they are never warned about becoming too soft, too distressed, too available, to the point that they become invisible. They disappear within their own presence. And then, what is the reaction from the outside world, especially from the women in their lives? Let's observe this objectively, without blame or judgment. Just observe the natural laws of attraction and respect. Attraction does not respond to moral effort. You cannot nice someone into desiring you. Desire does not operate on the logic of fairness. Desire does not grow from self-sacrifice. It is ignited by wholeness, by autonomy, by a vivid energy that you possess and give freely, not a debt you pay off exhaustedly. Respect does not come from unconditional compliance. It is built by witnessing you respect yourself enough to say no, to have non-negotiable values, to stand firm as an independent entity. Therefore, when a man stops creating friction, healthy friction, honest arguments, the moments he says, "I think differently," and stays with it, when he stops holding his ground and starts drifting according to the whims of others, when the inner anchor that defines who he is pulled up, leaving him to float aimlessly. The reaction from the other side is often subtle, almost instinctual. Emotional distancing, an invisible wall goes up. A loss of respect, small but real, expressed through a look, a tone, or the fact that his opinion is consulted less and less. And a profound confusion from both sides. He asks himself, "What did I do wrong? I've tried so hard," while she silently wonders, perhaps also in pain, when did he disappear? Who am I even with? But the thing that breaks a man the most, the ultimate pain, isn't losing the woman by his side. It's losing himself, while his physical body is still there. He witnesses his own disappearance from a first-person perspective. He is still present in the house, still providing, still listening with an attentive face. But he no longer has authority, the unshakable belief in his own decisions and values. Gravity, the silent, intense pull that comes from a solid interior, making others take notice and consider him. Inner certainty, that guiding light in the eyes, the energy that says, I know who I am, and I know where I am going. And then, in a rare moment of clarity amidst the automatic flow of life, he realizes the bitterest truth of all. He didn't become toxic. He became optional. He becomes a good piece of furniture, comfortable, familiar, but nothing special, nothing indispensable. His presence becomes a habit, no longer a conscious choice. Now, let's be clear, with all due caution, none of the above is advice to become a cruel brute of a man. It doesn't mean you should close off your heart and become cold or unfeeling. It certainly doesn't mean returning to an old model of dominance, seeking to control or impose yourself on others. Absolutely not. This is about something entirely different, something far more subtle and powerful. Self-containment, the ability to hold your energy, your emotions, and your focus within. It's having an inner world rich enough and solid enough that you don't need to constantly pour yourself out seeking validation or patching up the holes in others. You are a planet with your own gravity, not a wandering satellite. Boundaries without explanation, knowing clearly what belongs to you, your time, your energy, your peace, and what does not. And being able to protect them with a calm, steady resolve that doesn't require long-winded justifications, apologies, or persuasion. Presence without performance, existing in a room as exactly who you are. With wholeness and internal quiet. You don't need to do something, prove something, or play a role to have value. Your mere presence is enough. Remember, and etch this into your soul. Being good is not the problem. Kindness is a beautiful quality. The problem is when you trade it for your soul, losing the core, the essence, the unique being that makes you, you. So, let's leave it here with an awareness, not a rushed solution. Leave it with a truth that needs to be stared down, not a to-do list for you to turn yourself into a new mold. Most men don't break because they are evil, failures, or haven't tried hard enough. They break because, in a superhuman effort to become what everyone else wanted, they let themselves slowly vanish. They became ghosts of a good man. And no one, throughout that long journey, warned them about the true, devastating cost of being good in that way. The cost of invisibility.